मॉरल लर्नर्स पेश करते हैं द मुरब्बी सीरीज। इस हफ्ते मुलाकात कीजिए तुर्की के वजीर आजम के साबिका मुशीर और तुर्की के वजीर तालीम के मौजूदा मुशीर डॉक्टर उमर फारूक कोरकमाज से। आप टीआरटी टेलीविजन पर एक प्रोग्राम के मेजबान भी हैं और तालीम से मुताल्लिक कई समाजी इदारों के ट्रस्टी भी हैं।
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलामु अलैकुम व रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। नहमदुहू व नुसल्ली अला रसूलिहिल करीम। It's really a great honor for us that today we have in our Murabbi series, mashallah, Dr. Umar Faruk Korkmaz, and he has spent, mashallah, a lot of time in Pakistan also. He's graduated from International Islamic University, and then, mashallah, he has done his PhD from Ankara University, and he's the past chief advisor to Turkish Prime Minister. He's the current advisor to Turkish Education Minister, trustee at several trusts, including for Orphans and Education, and also he has in media also, and the host of a popular weekly TRT program. In fact, he has a program, inshallah, because he's a, so we have a short time, but inshallah we will get the benefit. And I will not take much time. Mashallah, very popular personality in Turkey, and it's really great honor for moral learners in our series that we welcome on the behalf of moral learners. Dr. Umar, I'll ask a very simple question from you as a introduction, that the journey from an Islamic University student to become a chief advisor of the Prime Minister, how you, if you see back, how you feel this journey, how a student of an Islamic University become an advisor of the Prime Minister?
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, it is a great honor for me to address our brothers in Pakistan. Brothers and sisters, of course, I am sure you have some sisters also who are watching this program.
Yeah, we do it.
So you can say I'm already addressing to my homeland, first or second homeland, where I learned a lot of things. But let me tell you just about my journey. Of course, before I come to Pakistan, I studied in Imam Hatip High School, where President Erdogan was graduated. So I have some Islamic background before I come to Pakistan. But I could not use any second language, Arabic or English. The best thing I learned in Pakistan was Arabic and English, of course. And I studied in the Faculty of Usul al-Din, Islamic Studies in International Islamic University. I spent almost around 10 years in Pakistan. Don't ask me about my Urdu, of course, in this, after this. But I think the best of my age I spent in Pakistan, because in those days Pakistan was very international and very popular in international level about many issues and regional and international issues, especially Afghan problem, Afghanistan occupation by Russians, and Pakistan's support brothers and international community stood against Russian aggression to Afghanistan. So I have been in a very popular time in Pakistan, and I learned a lot of things from Pakistan. That is why I can say I have to give some things I learned from Pakistan to the Pakistani brothers again. So thank you very much for accepting me in this program. You know, when I came back to Turkey, of course, I started working with some famous political figures, and in the same time some NGOs. And then I university as an academician in Republican University of Sivas. Then I started doing my PhD in Ankara University. Then Minister of that time, Al-Marhum Professor Erbakan, asked me to be his advisor in 1996 as an advisor to Prime Minister. Then there are many journeys. Then I joined the media, and there are many things. I don't want to waste my time, all these things. But I can tell in short, Pakistan contributed a lot in my life. That is, in short, I can tell you. But unfortunately, Pakistani brothers could not keep internationality of international university nowadays. So, number one. Number two, Pakistani brothers could not follow those who graduated from international Islamic University, at least to create a link between the graduates and the university in order to utilize their capacity and contribution to the university. Anyhow, this is another matter. You can go your second question.
Thank you very much. And I think so. I got my one of the to-dos for those who are alumni of Islamic University, that this is a gap which we have to fill. And now, second thing, which is the important thing I want to understand, and we mostly our Pakistani brothers are very much they are interested to learn about this. What is all Imam Khatib schools? What are those schools? What is the setup of those schools? What type of these schools? It's like our madrasa, or it's like a Islamic school, or integration of both things. What it is?
Let me give you a story or a joke about my life. When I came to Pakistan first time, I went to Ministry of Education for equivalence committee about my certificate. So they asked me, what is the name of your school where you graduated? I said, Imam Khatib School. And they asked me, are you Shia? Are you from Imamiyah? Imam Khatib School is Imamiyah school. I said, no, I am not Shia, but I graduated from Imam Khatib School, where this school has official connection or runs under the Ministry of Education of Turkey. And I explained the details. Then they give me equivalency certificate in order to get admission in Pakistani institutions. So as far as Imam Khatib is concerned in Turkey, you know, there were many madrasas, thousands of madrasas during the time of Ottoman Empire. But we discussed almost 100 years about the change we can do on the madrasas. But unfortunately, we were not successful. Madrasas during the Ottoman times. It has many discussions. We have to go in detail. It is not enough to speak only within.
की तरफ से डिस्कनेक्ट हो रहे हैं? Allahumma salli ala.
Yes. I cannot hear your voice.
So now, originally, one thing which I want to understand is that this Imam Khatib school is when you graduate from there, you got the 12 years degree, 12 years program.
Yes. First of all, Imam Khatib schools run by Ministry of Education. This is number one. Number two, this is a combination of science, social science, and religious studies. For instance, we study tafsir, hadith, Quran, usul al-fiqh, usul al-hadith. In addition to these subjects, we study also chemistry, physics, English, of course, Arabic, and all history, geography, and all social sciences. Okay. That is why it is a combination of both sides. So we call in Turkey zu janahin, two wings. You know.
Yes.
So the project has been established by our elders, and it has been established on the taqwa. You know, on the basis of taqwa. That is why the graduates of these schools produce brilliant people in this country. Many members of parliament, many mayors in this country, many bureaucrats, and many businessmen. So it is not a madrasa. It is not a secular school 100%. It is combination of both. In fact, these schools have not been established to produce alim, because it is only high school up to high school level. After high school, those who want to be alim, they go to faculties of Islamic studies, theology faculties of Turkey, and we have in Turkey almost 105 theology faculties, faculty of Islamic studies. So those who want to be scholar, Islamic scholar, they join to these faculties. Okay, we have more than 5,000 Imam Hatip schools throughout the country, and it has different branches under these schools. Of course, some of the schools nowadays focus on science, and some of the schools get general science, and some of them focus on Islamic studies. But there are some common subjects in order to be able to graduate from the schools. Okay, so these schools still favor of the people because those graduates from these schools are getting good marks, and they are getting good admissions in the universities. This year, also Ministry of Education and Higher Education announced the results of university entry exams, and we came to know that these graduates from these schools, graduates of these schools, got good marks, good places in the university. That is why people are, in general, people, even some secular people, sending their children to these schools to make their children have good manner, you know. So they are not sending their children to be imam in these schools. They are not sending their children to these schools to be Islamic scholar. Of course, some of them are sending their children to these schools to be imam, but generally they send their children to these schools to be good Muslim. Okay, so when you train them as a good Muslim, wherever they go, wherever they study, whatever they study in the universities, they become good Muslims. They are good Muslim engineers, good medical doctors, good professors. Okay, so these schools are favor of people in general. The main role these schools have played in Turkey, it created it closed the gap between the people and the government. In the past, there were some psychological problems between the past and the existing system or existing regime of Turkey. But these schools, to many extent, close these gaps. Now, there is no problem. Generally, there is no problem between the public and the government. This is very important because in some countries, there is a very severe conflict. Of course, there was some conflict between the people and the government in the past, but these schools already closed this gap. Number two, these schools save the country from radical forces, radical religious forces, as it takes place in some countries. So this is also very important for us. Number three, these schools produce a very good bureaucrats, very good intellectuals, and very good scholars. Of course, after they join the universities. So this is also very good contribution to the country. That is why many Muslim countries started studying about the content of the schools, why these schools are very successful, what is the reason or logic behind these schools, what is the content of syllabus of these schools. In fact, there is no much differences about the syllabus of secular programs and syllabus of madrasa. And until I can say you, in Pakistani madrasa curriculum, you can say until 5th of madrasa programs, almost we are giving this almost same educational pattern, educational background of madrasa programs in these schools. But in the same time, we give all the secular subjects and social sciences in these schools. So this is another answer of second question.
So how many years they are working? When they started? This is school started how many? When?
Of course, these schools have been established in 1950s.
1950s.
1950s, of course. The reason behind that, because there was no religious schools, there was no scholars, Muslim scholars or religious scholars in those days. After a very big time we have already passed, almost 30 years in the Republic. People could not find even imam for janazah, imam for janazah. Now we are discussing something very brilliant period, but in those days we had some very big issues. So that is why these schools have been established to produce janazah imams, in those days. But later on, the content of the program changed, and because it was established on the good niyat, good intention, that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped these schools and those founders, and these schools became very popular for the people.
So it means that we have the cater students according to their interest, or same subjects for everyone, or you can choose your subjects also.
No, when you join the Imam Hatip schools, you have to take all the subjects. You don't have any choice.
Option, okay, no option, okay. Now,
of course, there are certain options, but you cannot divide between the Islamic sciences and the social sciences in general. You have to study all the subjects. Of course, there are some options, but not in these main major subjects.
Okay, so it is for girls and boys all? It's for everyone?
No, it is for everyone, of course. It is for everyone. Although it is called Imam Hatip schools, but girls were studying also in this school. That is why some corners or some secular forces are complaining, and they are discussing why these girls are studying in these schools, since these schools are going to produce only imams, and girls cannot be imams. But we say they are going to be da'iyah. That is why they are studying in these schools.
So like for example, how did a secular society accept this change? How did religious people convince secular people, no, you don't worry, there is no fear for you? Or
these schools developed under the secular system of Turkey. So it is part of secular system.
Okay.
That is why they cannot refuse this system, because it's part of system. It is under the control of the government. It is better to have religious education under the government in Turkey, at least, in order to not create some uncontrolled forces in the country, which may create some problems for the society. That is why in Turkey, education, whether it is secular education or general education, is under the control of the government. That is why you will see in Turkish society, we can control many unwanted forces in this country, because education and security are under the control of the government.
So do you think this type of experiment is good for all Ummah in the different countries of OIC? The same experiment should be adopted like Imam Hatip schools? How do you feel?
You see, when we say Imam Hatip schools are good examples and good experiences, it doesn't mean that other Muslim countries don't have this kind of. Doesn't mean that other countries don't have this kind of experiences. You have also some experiences in Pakistan, as I know, but just you need some moderations. You need some modification and change in these schools, and you may have better than all schools. But if you copy it as it is, it will work. I am sure it will work, since it is a same Muslim society, same historical background. but you can utilize these experiences, but you can have your own experiences. You can develop your own experience according to the requirement of the country. But the main important point in these schools, the outcome of the schools, how these graduate the requirement of the society, requirement of the government. So if you could do some schools, good schools, which is helping to government and the state about the requirement of their needs, so you will have also almost similar syllabus and educational programs in your country.
We are on live now. What do you think that in our madrasas, what type of subject, because you know madrasa system of Pakistan also, and very
I know very well.
You know, university, think that what subjects should be taught as an essential in today's madrasas? What, because this is a very nowadays the current topic. Everybody was worried about that, the change in madrasas and traditional education, and how we can change, what integration. So what you think, what subjects should be taught?
You know, if I say something it will not be understood properly. I suggest one thing: we can establish International Islamic Education Board. You know, we can establish altogether International Islamic Studies Board. In this board, you can give us some important educationists, some brothers who are concerned in education, and then we can discuss this matter over there. Then you will have a very good syllabus will come out from this board. Bismillah.
We should start an initial committee or something. I will suggest my admin of the moral learners also that we can start with collaboration, and then we can come up with sort of a suggestions as a draft paper that what could be done. But my one question people are asked normally.
I can tell you two, three things which will be in general. You know, in this madrasas in general, you know, life is content of some subjects. I mean, some related to some subjects. For instance, I already discussed board of Madaris al-Arabiya, brothers in Madaris al-Arabiya in this about this topic, and they know me very well. I know them very well. For instance, there is no history in your madrasas. There is no history. No history. We discuss this in detail. It needs too much discussion. History is more important than Maddatul Aqidah, the Aqidah subject, you know, because majority of the problems take place in the history shaped or Aqidah, you know. It needs to long discussion. I have some ideas, but it needs some discussions. Number two, there is no maths in madrasas. So those two graduates who want to be bureaucrats in the government, so they are entering in exams, but since they don't know maths, so they cannot match. They cannot enter good. They cannot get good posts in the government. You see, this is number two. Number three, we claim as a madrasa people, we are the people who teach the best way of Arabic, the best Arabic. Do you think that we are teaching best Arabic in the madaris?
Yeah, this is another thing.
This is another issue. So it is not good to go in detail. So my suggestion is to establish International Islamic Studies Board. Then we can have very good education. I have very good connection throughout the world. Then we can have good discussions on Zoom. Maybe it takes a long time, not only one time, hours and hours. Then we will come out very good syllabus.
Yeah, that's good idea. That inshallah we will meet with such type of a webinar, or we can start the discussion at least. But one thing, if any Islamic school of Pakistan wants to get any madrasa of Pakistan wants to get affiliation from any Turkish university, they can do it? Is it possible?
No, in Turkey we don't have this kind of experiences. We don't have any affiliation. But I tell you one thing: head of religious education in Ministry of Education, director of religious education in Ministry of Education, came to Pakistan to establish to carry these experiences to Pakistan. Okay, and he visited Pakistan twice, but there was no result. These are the reports which have been written about these visits. You see. So what I want to say, you can have some contacts with your Ministry of Educations, and because Turkish government and Turkish ministry doesn't deal with local private madrasas, government to government. Okay, so if your government agrees to have experiences in Pakistan, at least in some regional governments, then you will have the results in almost 10 years. 10 years is not a long period in the history of the Ummah, you see? But the result will be totally different.
Yes, mashallah. So my question is, I just want to ask that what do you think, what you have a vision in your mind that what should be education system of Ummah right now? What is the current requirement of Ummah? Which subjects should be taught in all these Muslim countries? They focus more. What you have a vision? How could be our institutions? What if I ask that, Umar, what is your vision?
It is also another issue we have to discuss in detail, and it takes too much time. But I tell you, I am already running a program. I call it Bina Ulema al Ummah. Okay, Bina Ulema al Ummah, or Ulema Mustaqbal. I call it Futures Ulema, Giant Ulema, Greatest Ulema of future. So first of all, we have to define what will be the quality of great ulama, giant ulama in 2030s, 2040s, 2040s. What are the qualifications we need for future ulama? Okay, first of all, we have to design this. Let us plan this. Accordingly, we can have the program. In my opinion, we don't need many people who study, who will study Islamic studies in these details. You see, for instance, in Pakistan, if we have only 40 Taqi Osmani, it is enough.
40.
Only 40 Taqi Osmani in Pakistan, and we need in India only 100 Taqi Osmani. That is enough. But if you want to make everybody is Taqi Osmani, we are going to fail, and we are failing already.
We are unable to produce the second Taqi Osmani. You are saying about the 100 Taqi Osmani.
No, the problem is not the problem is not we are successful or not successful. The problem is the syllabus we have already produced, and the vision we put already. I told to our elder professor or elder Sheikh Taqi Osmani one thing, which is very important. It is I am telling this just to record for the history. I told him, we are very thankful for you as a sheikh, as a alim of deen, because you already introduced subject of economics in madrasa.
Islamic finance.
Economics and Islamic finance. If you did not introduce this subject to the madrasa, these subjects were not being taught in madrasa, you see. So that is why I requested him to introduce some other subjects to madrasa before he dies, in order to make it mashru, make it acceptable for the ulama.
Yes, otherwise people will say that Umar started this thing, and it will make the problem. So better Umar wants to get accreditation from Sheikh Taqi Usmani, and that you are right, because he has in his mind, he told so many times that. So now again, if we want to get some information about this year program of development and future of scholars, scholars of the future, the scholars of the 2030, scholars of the 2040,
I
So
tell
how
you,
we can
what
get
is
connection?
what is the definition of 2030s, 2040s qualification of a scholar? I tell you very frankly.
Yeah,
Number
please.
one, he will speak very good Arabic fluently, and he will study all the Arabic subjects until high school. At the end of high school, there will be nothing lacking in his Arabic language. Okay, this is number one. So Arabic is main subject to study Islamic studies in future. Number two, he will use and he will speak English properly, and he doesn't need to study English before he finish high school. So my future until he graduates from high school. My own program in high school, not the government high school. I have my own program.
Okay.
Number three, 4 years of the university level. 4 years of university level, he will focus on fiqh studies. Fiqh studies in all aspects. Okay, 4 years. And these fiqh studies will be in Arabic and English and Urdu in Pakistan. Some subjects. Then I talk about future ulama, not general ulama. Master level program will be 3 years, and he will specialize in hadith in general, and he will study hadith as mawqufun alayh and dawratul hadith and takhassus fil hadith 3 years. You know this terminology. Mawqufun alayh, dawratul hadith, and specialization in hadith 3 years.
Takhassus fil hadith, yes.
Takhassus fil hadith. Then he will study 4 years another program. 2 years of these programs will be in ilm al-kalam. And 2 years of after that he will study modern philosophy in English, Western philosophy. Then he's a good intellectual, he's a good alim, and he is also in the same time faqih. Then after of course this 4 years program will be PhD program. After that, this is a government PhD program. Then after that, he's going to specialize any of these subjects, okay? Because we need future alim. We will not call him alim. We will not call him alim until he specializes after PhD in some subjects. We will not call him alim until his age is 35 years or 40 years. Something like that, you see?
Okay. So it means that you have defined some subjects also. And if I ask you basic soft skills which need to be developed in this type of a scholar, these are the academic skills. But what will be the soft skills?
You see, these are, I call this name, these academic names. Hello.
Yes.
I use these academic titles to make you understand. I'm not using academic syllabus. I have my own syllabus.
Yeah, I know. I can understand. Yes, I can understand.
But as you see, as far as his vocational activities, of course, if there is an institution who will solve these financial and economical problems of these scholars, that is ahlan wa sahlan. Otherwise, we will establish our own institutions to take care of these scholars, because the number of these scholars will not be more than 20 in this country, at least in Turkey. But in Pakistan, we need 40. But in Turkey, we need only 20.
Oh, mashallah. For 20 can run a Turk, but for why Pakistan 40?
Because
we need more.
You are 200 million.
Yeah, yes, good.
I'm looking for new scholars like Zahid al-Kawsari, okay? Like Shah Waliullah Dehlavi. My target is Shah Waliullah Dehlavi. My target is Anwar Shah Kashmiri, if to make it understand, you see.
Yes.
My target is to graduate, to produce Zahid al-Kawsari, Mustafa Sabri Effendi, again and again.
Good, mashallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you on each and every single step. And alhamdulillah, the great vision which you have. Any great message for Islamic schools of Pakistan, academia, people who are related with academia, any message from your side?
My message, ask them to pray for me. And if they need my help, if they need my my humble help or contribution. And every time they can call me, and every time we can talk on Zoom or on this social media, we can discuss details. Then I am sure, one thing I tell you, you have hundreds of madaris, you see, hundreds of madaris, not hundreds, thousands of madaris, around 30,000, I know this very well. Okay.
Yes.
Why you don't experience this at least in 50 madrasa? In 50 madrasa, you choose some 50 madrasa who has some financial capacities and practice some different syllabus, and you stay again and again under the umbrella of the madrasa, no problem. But let us implement some different syllabus which is not far away from religious then you see the result, you see.
Yeah, but alhamdulillah, one thing we have started in Pakistan, so many madaris, especially about the Arabic in Banat also and Banin. There are the madaris who are doing extraordinary thing, and there are certain Islamic schools also. We have like in Darul Uloom also, the other Islamic schools, Reflection is there, some schools. They are doing, they are teaching Arabic, and their students are giving exams in Cambridge in O levels in Arabic. So they are now, we started this Arabic one, but like you have mentioned, that experience of a specific curriculum, inshallah, we can do. And I hope the vision which you made, that we can bring some uniformity in schools across the Muslim world through such type of a Muslim board or advisory council or sort of a thing, from where every single Muslim school can get the benefit. I will, inshallah, we will try to make or to establish, inshallah, such a forum or such a board or whatever, from where every part of the ummah people can get benefit, that how in their advisory, in their education perspective, in tarbiyah or in Islamic education.
One memory that will be contributed also. And we will finish, inshallah, because I have another TV programs.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
I tell you one thing. Almost 10 years ago, I discussed with one of very close friend of mine from Pakistan in Islamabad. I was opposing why they use British curriculum or British textbooks in schools, private or government schools. And he was defending deadly about those books. I told them, even if it is Islamic studies books, I don't use it, because I have to produce my own curriculum and my own program. After 10 years, just I think last few months, the government of Punjab already discovered that there are many issues against Islamic studies, there are Islamic ideology, and there are many problems against even Pakistan national interest.
Yes.
Did you follow this?
Yes. There was a secret.
The main issue is to produce our own curriculum, number one. Number two, we have to produce our own textbooks, you see. Another experience I tell you, that I was discussing with some brothers again in some programs, in syllabus programs in Islamabad, and they put a program of hadith, okay? The first hadith was against the law of this world, okay? حب الدنيا في الحديث, something like that. Who is going to study this hadith? Or juniors, primary students or secondary students. If you give this hadith primary students or secondary students, it means he will be very good Sufi, mashallah, dervish in that time. He doesn't need to study university. He doesn't need to study in anything, you see. Just he will be very good Sufi. Yani. I'm not against Tasawwuf. Tasawwuf is part of my curriculum, and it should be there. But this kind of hadith should be chosen properly in syllabus, you see. So we have to motivate the students. You are the people who are going to rule this country. You are the people who are going to save this nation. You are the people who are going to serve the humanity in general. So if you don't give this sensitivity, if you give them, okay, brother, dunya is very bad, this world is very, very bad. So what kind of education is this? So this is very important also. So
selection of hadith is also, I do agree with you. Jazakallah, thank you very much. the thirst is still there, and inshallah, you already mentioned some ideas, inshallah, and we will meet you again, and inshallah we will create such type of a webinar through which we can discuss the way forward of these Islamic curriculums, inshallah. Jazakallah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Inshallah, God bless you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you. May Allah give you istiqamah in every step, inshallah, and accept your efforts, your sacrifice which you are doing for Ummah, and the vision which you have for Ummah. And inshallah, you will produce, and you will be means to produce the scholars for 2030, 2040. And inshallah, we will get the benefit from you. Jazakallah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My humble greetings to all scholars, ulama, mashayikh, and our brothers and sisters in Pakistan. I hope as soon as possible after Corona time, I will come to Pakistan and we will discuss face to face, inshallah.
Most welcome, inshallah, inshallah. Or we will come to Turkey to see Imam Hatib school in detail.
Inshallah. Ahlan wa salam. Marhaban.
اهلا وسهلا مرحبا بكم جزاكم الله الله تنسينا في دعائكم جزاكم الله احسن الجزاء باركم الله بارك الله السلام عليكم جزاك الله. So inshallah, the viewers in the list of the next episode, inshallah, the same time, 9:30 Friday, and 11th September, inshallah, we will have a guest, inshallah, Dr. Yasir Qazi, Islamic theologian, scholar, dean, the Islamic University of America, and Dr. Yasir Qazi is the resident scholar of the Eastern Islamic Center. He is also the dean of the Islamic Seminary in America. He is one of the few people who has combined the traditional Eastern Islamic seminary education with the Western academic training of the study of Islam. Dr. Yasir graduated from with a BSc in chemical engineering from the University of Houston, after which he was accepted as a student at the Islamic University of Medina. After completing a diploma in Arabic, he graduated with a BA and from the College of Hadith and Islamic Sciences, and completed a MA in Islamic Theology from the College of Dawah. He then returned to America and completed a PhD in Religious Studies from Yale University. He has authored several books and published academic articles and appeared in numerous satellite and TV stations around the globe. His online videos are the most popular and highly watched Islamic videos in English. So inshallah, we'll discuss with him certain youth problems which we are facing, and the other his experiences. Inshallah, we'll get the benefit. Be with us and inshallah be with Dr. Yasir Qazi. Jazakumullah wa asral jaza. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.